Hey everyone! It's been a while since I've uploaded a video, but I am back at it again. This time with the raid guide for solo mode Thaemine. I'm really excited that Smilegate and Amazon have added this as a solo mode for Lost Ark, considering how many players struggle with this raid. If you enjoyed this guide or found it helpful, consider giving this video a like and subscribe to the channel. There is a lot to cover in this video, but let's discuss some general changes first. The solo mode shop offers a variety of materials to assist you with progression. If you are not familiar with the solo mode shop, it can be found in any major city noted by a blue icon on your map. This vendor will sell you honing materials, gems, etc. at the cost of solo mode tokens. These tokens can be acquired for doing any raid that has a solo mode. However, you do not have to do solo mode specifically to acquire these tokens. The solo mode shop is now updated to include Areha fusion materials that are needed to hone your gear, in addition to Darkfire, Echidna Eyes, and Transcendence armor tickets. Solo mode raids now have some new buffs you can select and additional buffs you can acquire by completing mechanics in the raid. These extra buffs you get during the fight is shown by a new UI on the left hand side. This UI window can be moved and modified to your liking. Regarding the rewards from Thaemine Solo, you can refer to the Google document that is in the video description and pinned comment. TLDR, you get the same amount of Darkfire as normal mode, and the total gold is 9,100 if you complete all 3 gates of Thaemine. I won't touch on Transcendence too much, but it has been overhauled to be much easier to do and requires no thinking at all. You just press a button, that is it. RNG is still involved, but there is no strategy or calculator needed. For Gate 1, you will bring the following battle items: Dark Grenade, Atropine, and Destruction Bomb. I will start off by going over some gimmicks, mechanics, then finish off with her attack patterns. Throughout the fight, the boss will drop small organisms on the ground around her. Doing enough damage to the organisms will turn them into red orbs that you can pick up. This will give you an organism buff that does not expire and stacks up to 10 times. This organism buff will be required for the endorphin phase at the end of the fight. It is ideal to get as many stacks of this organism buff as you can. Another gimmick throughout the fight is her adrenaline buff. When she does normal red telegraph attacks, she gets an adrenaline buff below her HP bar. In addition, these attacks will be targeted at you, noted by a 2-eye icon above your head. After 3 stacks of adrenaline, she will follow up with a counterattack. If you fail the counter, every other attack afterwards will be a counter up to 2 or 3 times. Succeeding a counter will generate additional sidereal meter. The first major mechanic happens at 144 HP lines or below. The boss will move to the center and a dialog box will be shown. You will need to move to any edge of the map. Your camera will zoom out and you will see a lot of blue line telegraphs in all directions. Hug the edge of the map so that you do not get hit. If you do get hit, you will be stunned for a few seconds. After the blue lines go away, tentacles will spawn that you will need to destroy using weak point damage. You can use weak point skills, but it is preferred to use your destruction bomb. Once the tentacles are destroyed, red telegraphs will be shown that deal damage. Once you throw your destruction bomb or use weak point skills, wait a second as the rest of the tentacles will also be destroyed. Then you can move in and complete the stagger check on the boss. Once you complete the stagger check, she will spawn a ton of blue circle telegraphs on the ground that will stun you. If you do get hit, do not worry, it does not do a lot of damage. Around 8 minutes into the fight, the boss will trigger a special pattern. The tell for this pattern is when her head gets larger. She will charge to you, then backstep and fire tentacles in front of her. The charge and the tentacles will grab you if you get hit. If you do not get grabbed, this pattern will end. If you do get grabbed, she will throw you on the ground after a moment and deal moderate damage. Up until the 100 bar mechanic, you will notice that there are 3 craters on the map. Every time the boss is countered or staggered, you will get a spike symbol under your feet. You will need to go to one of the craters so that the boss can attack that crater. If done properly, the crater will show red lines around it. This needs to be done 2 times in total. If done 2 times in total, she will phase to the mechanic momentarily. Otherwise, you will damage her to 100 HP lines to trigger the mechanic. You should save your sidereal meter because if you do not land 2 counters and go to the same crater, you will need to use the bolt or sidereal, otherwise you will die. When the mechanic starts, the craters around the map will explode. Stay away from them to avoid death. If a crater was attacked twice by the boss previously, the explosion radius is very large, causing the boss to be knocked up in the air, which allows the mechanic to proceed. If you could not get the boss to attack the same crater twice, use the bolt or sidereal when way shows a dialog box. This will launch the boss in the air and force a mechanic to occur. When the boss is in the air, after a moment, a few tentacles will spawn on the ground. You will need to walk up to one of them and throw your destruction bomb, then a yellow telegraph will be shown. This will force the boss to grab you, which is what you want to do to succeed the mechanic. During this mechanic, red circle telegraphs and a red pizza will spawn periodically. Try to practice dodging before you rush to the tentacle to throw your destruction bomb. Once you get grabbed, the mechanic will finish. The next major mechanic happens at 55 HP lines or below. It is the exact same as the 144 mechanic I discussed above. Go to the edge of the map, avoid the blue telegraphs, and throw destruction bomb on the tentacles. Wait for the rest of them to go away, then move to the middle and complete the stagger check. Once you finish this mechanic, you'll be brought to the last phase of the fight. During the last phase, you will see eyes lingering around the map. Walking over them will trigger an attack. If you get hit, you will take massive damage. You should prioritize walking over the eyes that are near the boss so that you don't accidentally step on them and get hit. Around 35 HP lines, the next mechanic will occur. All eyes on the map will stop moving and look in a specific direction. This indicates where a safe spot is located. You can go to this safe spot, but most people tend to skip this mechanic by using Sidereal Balthor to activate Endorphin. Use Balthor around 35 HP lines. Make sure you stand in a Balthor circle. The boss may try to knock you out of it, so play safe. Endorphin is a DPS check where you have to burn down the shield on the boss in 25 seconds. This is where you need to use Dark Grenades and Atropine. After you remove her shield, there is no more major mechanics. For Gate 1, I'm only going to touch on two of her attacks that I think are important to know. Double Red Circle. The boss will show two red circle telegraphs overlapping each other, then she will step back. After a moment, she will spawn red spikes in front of her and around her. Getting hit by these spikes will deal a ton of damage. This is the most dangerous pattern. Double Blue Circle. The boss will show two blue circle telegraphs overlapping each other, then she will glow blue for a counter. This counter is very fast and is hard to land for a lot of people. Do not be discouraged if you cannot land a counter. In the event that you get hit by her blue telegraph, she will throw you on the ground and showcase multiple red telegraphs that do a lot of damage. And that will wrap up Gate 1. It's a pretty simple fight, she just has annoying attacks, but she does not deal a lot of damage. For Gate 2, you will bring the following battle items: Dark Grenade and Time Stop Potion. The last battle item is optional. In addition, you can swap out Time Stop with Atropine instead if you do not want to rely on Time Stop. There is one major gimmick for this gate that I will discuss now. When the boss performs dark blue attacks, if you get hit by them, you will get a weakness debuff. This debuff cannot be cleansed, it lasts a few seconds, and it will stack. You take more damage with every stack. If you get electrocuted with this debuff, a bubble will spawn from your character that will explode and deal damage to you. Multiple stacks of the weakness debuff can be fatal if you're doing this raid on item level. The first major mechanic happens at 134 HP lines or below. A short intermission will occur, and the boss will destroy two sides of the map, leaving only a bridge in the center. Then a red telegraph will be shown. This showcases where the boss will land. When the camera is zoomed out, move near the bottom of the map. In a moment, the boss is going to spawn an orb that will travel near the bottom, then stop and glow blue for a counter. Try your best to counter the orb when it glows blue. If you cannot succeed to counter, you will get knocked up in the air and take fatal damage. Afterwards, stand directly in front of the boss. He may glow red or blue for a counter. If he glows red, do not counter. Red is considered a fake counter. Once the boss is countered, you can deal damage for a second or two, then he will jump in the air and land in the middle of the map, noted by a red telegraph. Then you will need to move to the bottom of the map around this area I'm showcasing on screen. A yellow telegraph will then be shown that you will need to avoid. If you get hit by the yellow telegraph, you will get knocked off the map. However, the game will save you and recover some of your HP. This can only occur once every 7 minutes with the debuff I'm showing on screen now. If you get hit by any attack in Gate 2 or Gate 3 that would knock you off the map, you will be saved once every 7 minutes. After the yellow telegraph, the boss will appear in the middle, then you'll be teleported to a different area where you will fight the boss. The boss will periodically perform an attack where he will spawn tornadoes on the map and showcase a blue puddle under your feet. After a few moments, the blue puddle will drop on the ground wherever you are standing. You should bring the puddles to the edge of the map and do not stack them. Stepping on the puddle deals massive tick damage and will slow your movement and attack speed. The next major mechanic happens at 72 HP lines or below. The boss will move to the middle and showcase a white or blue aura around him. At the same time, you will see white and blue balls around the edges of the map. For this mechanic, you need to see which color is surrounding the boss. Then hit the opposite color ball to the boss. You must do this in order to complete the stagger check. The abilities on your action bar alone are not enough to complete the stagger check. To get the ball to hit the boss, position yourself behind the ball, then place your cursor in the direction of the boss, then auto-attack. This will cause the ball to fly to the boss. If you position this incorrectly, the ball will not hit the boss. 3 balls are enough to complete the stagger check. If you fail, it is a wipe. The last major mechanic is at 20 HP lines or below. Keep in mind that this mechanic can be skipped if you're dealing heavy burst damage in a small window. An example of this will be your Hyper Awakening. For the last mechanic, you will need to move to the middle of the map. Mobs will spawn that you will need to kill in a certain time. The first wave of mobs do not have much HP. The second wave of mobs have more HP and additional attacks. Using Dark Grenade to cleave down the second wave is recommended. The last wave will spawn 2 big dragons. One dragon will sit still, and another dragon will glow blue, then charge to your direction. You need to stand in the middle of the map and do not counter the dragon. Wait for him to charge, then move out of the way. The dragon sitting still will fire a yellow telegraph in your direction in a moment, so be wary of that and dodge accordingly. You will need to use the Thaemine Sidereal in such a way where it hits both dragons at the same time. This will kill the dragon sitting still, with the other dragon having little HP left. Finish the dragon off, then the mechanic will be complete. Keep in mind that this last mechanic is time-based. If you run out of time, it will be a wipe. But you can prevent the wipe by using Time Stop Potion when your screen gets really dark. At this point, you just need to get the boss down to 0 HP lines to end the fight. Let's go over some attacks for Gate 2. Phase 1, Slam Counter. During Phase 1, the boss may do an attack where he spawns lightning pillars around the edges of the map, then slams 3 times in total wherever you are standing. On the second slam, the boss will glow blue for a counter. This counter pattern only exists in solo mode. Phase 1, Grab Counter. During Phase 1, the boss may do an attack where he spawns lightning, then disappears and reappears to grab you. Before he disappears, he will glow blue for a counter. This counter pattern only exists in solo mode. Phase 2, Lightning Pillar. If you do moderate damage, you may see this special attack. The boss will fly away and show an inside safe telegraph in the middle of the map, with the blue wave that slowly moves out. You can move out with the wave or have the boss knock you back to the edge when he attacks the middle. When the boss lands, multiple black puddles will spawn under your feet, and you will see multiple lightning pillars around the edges of the map. After a moment, all lightning pillars will disappear, with only 2 that are remaining. You need to hide behind one of them, as the boss will spawn a wave of darkness that will knock you off the map if you are hit. Time Stop Potion is recommended if you cannot hide behind one of the lightning pillars in time. And that will wrap up Gate 2. Pretty simple fight, you shouldn't have much trouble here. For Gate 3, you will bring the following battle items: Dark Grenade and Time Stop Potion. The last battle item is optional. I would recommend Sprinter's Robe if anything at all. There is a lot more to cover in Gate 3, and it's more difficult than the 2 previous gates, as you will be fighting Thaemine himself. To prevent being overwhelmed with information, I will go over important gimmicks and mechanics as they would occur in real time. At the start of Gate 3, you will see a red telegraph or delayed red telegraph explosion. Stay at the edge and wait for it to explode. Then look at Thaemine in the back and see which arm he is raising. This indicates what side you need to go to. Walk down and stay off to the side and wait for the explosions that will occur momentarily. After that, move towards the sword in the middle and proceed to finish the stagger check. The sword does not take reduced damage here, so use your main burst rotation. Whatever HP you drop the sword to is the same HP the sword will be at for the 255 mechanic. The sword will perform red telegraphs during all of this, so try your best to dodge. If you take too long to complete the stagger check, it will be a wipe. Once you complete the stagger check on the sword, a cutscene will occur, then you will finally fight Thaemine. He will always start off with teleporting behind you and doing a front slash attack. Never get hit by this attack, treat it as instant death. You will see this teleport to front slash attack occur many times throughout the fight. If you do get hit by this attack, you will get a critical debuff. This debuff increases the damage you take by 5% per stack and lasts 1 minute. Before we get into the first major mechanic, let me discuss a major gimmick that will occur throughout the entire fight. Thaemine will periodically summon a blue orb in front of him, then disappear. Afterwards, he will teleport behind you and do a front slash attack, then rotate 180 or 270 degrees and slam the ground twice, noted by a red telegraph. This slam attack will knock you back and can be a common death by gravity when you get to the stage break portion of the fight. To avoid the slam, after he does the front slash, try to position yourself where he did that slash, as you will never slam in that direction. He only rotates 180 or 270. In addition, when he summons a blue orb and teleports away, you will get a blue sword icon above your head. After a few seconds, a shadow clone will drop on the ground wherever you are standing. This should be brought near the edge of the map, but do not stack them with other shadow clones. Spreading them out is ideal. The first time this gimmick occurs, it is simply dropping a shadow clone on the edge. But every other time he does this, every shadow clone on the map will spawn red telegraphs that you must dodge. These telegraphs do a ton of damage, and every hit will give you a critical debuff. You can see where the clones are located by looking at your minimap. The first major mechanic happens at 275 HP lines or below. Thaemine will teleport to the middle and start walking. You need to go to the middle as outside is not safe. This is still a great window to keep dishing out damage. After 5 steps, he will levitate in the air and show a wave of darkness coming from him that is moving outwards. You have to spacebar through this. If you do not spacebar through this, you will get a darkness debuff that cannot be cleansed and lasts a long time. With this darkness debuff, you cannot see red telegraphs. After spacebarring through the wave of darkness, Thaemine will quickly show red telegraphs with safe spots that you must memorize, then go to those safe spots. The red telegraphs may do a ton of damage on item level, and every hit will give you a critical debuff. If you cannot memorize the entire sequence, you can use a time stop potion. There are only 2 patterns he can do in solo mode, both of which are pretty simple to dodge and memorize after seeing it a few times. After the 275 mechanic, Thaemine may do his first special attack. I call these red attacks. In solo mode, there's only 2 different kinds of red attacks that Thaemine can do, with 2 different variations, normal and enhanced. Let's go over these 2 attacks now, then discuss when these attacks are normal and enhanced. Cross ring. The boss will stand still, and his sword will be hovering in front of him, pointing horizontally. The normal version of this attack consists of 2 ring telegraphs. Between the 2 rings is safe. The enhanced version of this attack will showcase the same animation, but it will be a pizza telegraph instead. The safe spots will be X3 positioned from the boss. Top, bottom, left, or right side. Pizza. The boss will levitate in the air and lift up his sword. A pizza telegraph will be shown and he will attack twice. For the normal variation, you simply need to stand still in one of the safe spots for both attacks. For the enhanced version, you need to go to one of the safe spots for the first attack, and for the second attack, you need to move to the area that was not safe. Basically, the safe spots will alternate, so move left or right after the first attack. At the top left of your screen, you will see Thaemine's identity gauge, sectioned into 5 bars in total. Every time a bar fills up, a red attack will eventually happen. When his identity is full, you are blinded and cannot see red telegraphs. In addition, he will perform 2 red attacks in total. So it is important to memorize the animations of these attacks so that you can handle them when you are blinded. Now, from the start of the fight until the 255 mechanic, every red attack will be normal. After the 255 mechanic, every red attack is enhanced. Once stage break occurs, where Thaemine splits the map in half, every red attack will go back to normal. And then from 90 HP lines to 0, red attacks will switch back to being enhanced. In solo mode, these attacks may not kill you on impact, but in group mode they most certainly will without care from support. The next major mechanic happens at 255 HP lines or below. Thaemine will stand still and have a shield around him taking reduced damage. Then he will vanish and you will need to move to the middle of the map. A map-wide telegraph will occur where only middle is safe. Afterwards, a sword will drop down in the middle and showcase red telegraphs. These red telegraphs are delayed, so focusing on damaging the sword while moving. Once the telegraph locks onto your position, that means it is going to explode in a moment. After that, the sword will charge to your direction towards the edge of the map. The goal of this mechanic is to kill the sword. There is only one special gimmick during this phase. For every 3 to 4 attacks, the sword will follow up with a counterattack. Be sure to save your counter skill during this phase, as countering the sword will give you a long window to deal damage. When the sword is countered, it will be pinned to the ground with a stagger check and a red ring-safe telegraph. If you succeed the stagger check, the telegraph will not go off, and you will have more time to deal damage. Failing the stagger check causes the telegraph to go off. When the sword is dead, the mechanic will be complete. Reminder that after this mechanic, every red attack is now enhanced. The next major mechanic happens at 225 HP lines or below. The boss will move to the middle, and Thaemine will show a dialogue box. Then Thaemine will spawn a darkness wave that starts from the middle and moves out. You should get in the habit of spacebarring through the wave so that you do not get hit by a darkness debuff, similar to the 275 mechanic. However, this particular darkness debuff will allow you to see red telegraphs, so if you miss the spacebar timing, it's not a big deal. At the same time, Thaemine will show red telegraphs with safe spots that will fill in quickly until only a few safe spots remain. You'll need to wait a moment, then go to a safe spot quickly before his cutscene occurs. If you cannot make it to a safe spot in time, it will be a wipe. After this mechanic is finished, you'll need to get the boss down to 210 HP lines to trigger the next mechanic. At 210 or below, a cutscene will occur, then Thaemine will ride on his horse and charge to the edge of the map. Then he will ride along the edge of the map, stop for a moment, do a front slash attack, then jump to the middle of the map. Follow Thaemine and stay behind him to prevent being hit by the front slash. When Thaemine gets to the middle, you will see a large glowing circle. You will need to walk up to the circle and press G on your keyboard. This is a special mechanic called Clash. There are 5 in total throughout the fight. The first clash consists of 3 buttons in total that you need to press. This clash mechanic is similar to games like Osu. You need to press the correct key on your keyboard at the right time. There is perfect, good, and bad. In solo mode, if you get a good, it will perform damage to the boss. If you get a perfect, it will perform even more damage to the boss. Once you finish the first clash, Thaemine will teleport to the middle and spawn clones of himself that dash around, noted by red telegraphs. Thaemine himself will lock on to your current position and perform a stab attack multiple times. When he moves to the middle, I recommend using the Inanna Sidereal to prevent knockback and damage. You should be able to remove the shield on the boss during this attack if you were able to get a good or perfect during the first clash. You can also use Dark Grenade to help as well. If you cannot finish the DPS check on the shield during the clone attack, Thaemine will dash away and reappear in the middle. Another glowing circle will appear in front of the boss when he stops moving. This is called the second clash. The second clash will consist of 5 buttons in total. By the time the second clash is complete, the DPS check should be finished. If you run out of time, it will be a wipe. When you succeed the DPS check, you'll be brought to the second phase of the fight. During this phase, it is possible to die by gravity, so you will need to be careful. At the start of this phase, Thaemine will always appear in the middle and start off with an attack where he throws his sword in front and behind him. This attack does not do a lot of damage. Every 40 to 50 seconds on the enraged timer, the boss will attempt to continue clashing. The next clash to occur will be the third clash. The boss will teleport to the edge of the map, and half the map will be a yellow telegraph. Thaemine will attempt to destroy half the map. You should pick up this third clash. Remember, when you get a good or perfect during a clash, it does damage to the boss. The third clash will be near the middle of the map. If you fail this clash, Thaemine will destroy half the map and you will take fatal damage. After this clash, Thaemine will teleport to the edge of the map again after 40 to 50 seconds and attempt to do the same attack again. However, this attack is not clashable. You will need to move away from the boss as he will destroy half the map. Once he destroys half the map, all his red attacks will go back to being normal. After another 40 to 50 seconds, Thaemine will again teleport to the edge of the map and attempt to break another portion of the map. This attack is clashable, but at this point, most people use a hidden Nineveh Sidereal. She will do 25 HP lines of damage and gives you a good window to deal damage. Your goal at this point is to get the boss down to 90 HP lines before he breaks the entire map. When you get the boss down to 90 HP lines, you will be brought to what we call basement. The map will be fresh at this point, and all previous shadow clones will disappear. During this phase, there is a dark fog that will slowly move in that can hinder your battle space. Standing in this fog will deal heavy tick damage and give you a darkness debuff. At 55 HP lines or below, the next mechanic will occur. The boss will teleport to the middle and a cutscene will occur. After the cutscene, you will need to perform a typing test. Once you finish the typing test, your movement will be inverted. You will need to click opposite of where you want your character to go. You will need to get to a safe spot quickly. This mechanic is identical to the 225 mechanic, except your movement is inverted with a typing test. When you go to your safe spot and Thaemine does his map-wide attack, you'll be brought to a separate dimension where you have to fight a clone of yourself. You will need to kill your clone in time, otherwise you will die. When you're fighting your clone, your movement is inverted. One major DPS skill should be enough to kill your clone. When you kill your clone, you'll be brought back to the outside. Thaemine will have a shield that reduces the damage he takes, but you should still be pushing damage here. After a moment, he will follow up with the alternating red telegraph attack. From this point on, the dark fog will start from the middle of the map and slowly move out. At 42 HP lines or below, the boss will perform the last clash. Move to the edge of the map and wait for him to appear. When he appears, the last clash will be behind him. After the last clash, you can use the Way Sidereal if it is up to push more damage. Get the boss down to 0 HP lines to end the fight. And that will conclude the Thaemine solo raid guide. It is a lot of information to unpack in a single video, so I do suggest you take your time. Gate 3 will be a roadblock for you, but having clash mechanics deal damage to the boss should help you out a lot. There are some additional attacks I would like to mention that can knock you off the map, but they are heavily telegraphed in solo mode, so you should not have much trouble, and I do not want to stretch out this video much longer. Solo Echidna guide is something I will be working on, so stay tuned for that. And with all that being said, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.